Oh shit, it's working. That's crazy. I didn't expect that. Is audio working though? 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 Okay, what next? Let's think. This at this point, I literally seen. I think the scan is wrong. The scan feels wrong, but something like Apple should be there. Yeah, okay. There's basically nothing moving in the pre-market today. GME like put out something where they were thinking of buying eBay, and you know that's why it's doing what it's doing. So, so hmm. Oh, wow. Um, hmm. Today is May 4th. It's hard to buy that. It's a gap, I think. There's news. Um, it's really good news. It adds like legitimacy. Okay. Dude, Dawkin is like breaking out. Well, it broke out yesterday. I didn't really have it as a good setup. This one, obviously not. I shouldn't really change my setups because at the moment, you know, I did all the work this weekend. Quite a bit of work. If I don't think AXD is a good setup after hours, it's probably not a good setup in the pre-market unless there's news. And there was nothing with news today. I checked my news scan. So we have BE, which is objectively breaking out. I think you could just buy it now, but what's the AD? It also feels like early in the session, you know. Sometimes this blue is a bit hard to see if you zoom out. Ah, perfect. That's okay. I can see where the price is. I don't. Oh, this is my only position right now is CRML. Well, it's way above my stop. You know, I was hoping it would go straight up. Oh well. What is this line? Wow. Okay. I mean, geez. We have to wait for the... I'm glad I didn't rush into Bloom Energy. We're still in the first 5 minutes. None of these are freaking doing what you'd want immediately from a breakout. Except my only position. Actually, it's doing very well. That's really good. Holy. It is like legitimately, like maybe my first entry was kind of not perfect. Well, I entered here, right? I think I entered higher than I intended. $12.55. But you know, I had a pullback into a tight range, so what are you gonna do? Not trade it? Doesn't make sense. So see how clean it is? That's fucking crazy. Kind of sucks. There is no setups yet. WTI, you know, it wasn't anywhere near as obvious as CRML. Like, I just had it because UCO was setting up. This Arval is very good. It's pretty active today. The delta is very high. So even though there was no news, nothing with news, that was like market moving. I saw this. I thought the Arval was nice. But is it in my leader scan? It should be. When I see stuff like this, I'm like, it's not on my watch list, right? For a reason. And I can tell you why. It doesn't look right. It looks mediocre. Maybe it's the amount of big RFL days it's had in the past. It's only had one. If you compare that to, well, BE is like an $800 or $300 stock, but see how it has EPs at the start of its move, the big red candles with news. WTI has a lot of RFL days. I mean, there's no reason to short anything here, even though the open range break is offering a short. We're not there yet. There's Intel. You know, I had it as a really good flag, but I also had it, the daily looked like this, you know. This too. Obvious flag here. Boom, straight up. If breadth goes lower, I might short Intel here. Just because it's so active. And I don't know if that would be like crazy, but like imagine breadth goes down here. You know, BE, what has the best RVOL? Oh, I don't know. I'm not in the mindset to short. I'd rather short this for some reason, but or long oil. The RVOL's okay. I don't think the volume on this is crazy. You know, you'd want it to be higher than this cluster here, like a really good volume situation. Yeah, BE looks really good. I'm thinking for a day trade, right? So like my day will become short biased in a minute or two here if breath closes down here. Because you see how this is red and before it was gray. F cell is failing. You know, a short bias day could mean trading oil long, given that context. Let's see what happens. This thing looks so weird. Yeah, that's crazy. But, you know, anyone would say it broke out unless they're weird. You know, so what can you do? What can you do? I'm gonna say hi to Johan. I wonder if Johan's gonna say hello. That would be nice. I wonder if he'll be my first ever viewer. It's hard to say that this thing has good RVOL, honestly. Let's see. UCO, VIV, WTI. See, this is crazy. Why is the first day I'm trading, there's not a single setup? Okay, so technically we have bearish SA here. I just have to think this through. Is this a bearish setup? Like, yeah, I've seen them work. I don't know why. It's really hard for me to want to short this. And, you know, it's the same thing here. I don't want to short it. This is a lot better positioned to be a short. Looking at the 5 minute. You know, if I had to choose between VIV and WTI, and well, VIV very clearly is like breaking down. FSL, dude, I don't know. I don't even really want to short things today. I don't think it's right. I don't know. I hands down, like without a doubt, think the best setup right now is BE and CRML. These to me look really good for 24 hours to 48 hours. I think CRML is like could be a 5 day moving average trail. My situational awareness will have you shorting all day today. It would make up a new rule to long BE today. But I might do that, but oh fuck. Let's see. Oil looks really good. Look at the move. Like, it's so clean. Excuse me. Excuse me. Of course, I shouldn't be tilted. I specifically decided not to short FSL. This is because I didn't feel good about shorting. So when I went through all of my, I paper traded all of April, as you do when you like review the month. Excuse me. And essentially, I didn't make any money shorting. I didn't lose money shorting, but what happens is, like, if you're gonna short, I think it's stuff like this that you really want. I have to be careful because I took Vivant and I don't feel tired at all. I'm gonna be trading for 6 hours by the end of the day if I'm not careful. Just waiting, staring at the screen. That's a really good breakout. The stock did not trend. The relative volume is crazy good. I mean, it kind of trended, but not for an EP. Okay. Let's see. If I have to make up a new rule, and I think it's a good one, it's taking out the highs of the opening range for the NSAD. You know, what I would say is, like, this is a good entry on BE. Look at the RVol on it. My setup is open range highs. That's the one I'm usually most comfortable with. But this broke out. Is breadth increasing? I just want a line on there just for purpose. There. You know, I don't think it really matters at this point in the open. Things aren't falling, right? So, like, conceptually, if we look at like from an abstract perspective, I guess. What is the market doing? Sideways. You know, the whole market is going sideways. And then this thing broke out, pulled back, bounced off the close. Really good scalper would have bought it. That's a good move, but that's not me yet. Yeah, 290 was the level. Crazy stuff. Cool. Okay. Then we look at the RVOL. So I'm thinking of, I'm just mentally preparing to take a trade. Let's think. So the stock is good. It's a leader. Put in a daily pattern, put in a 2-hour pattern. Didn't have news today. You know, breadth is now above my line. And it's just a question of the relative volume, if it's high enough for me to want to take a trade. It is, but I don't know if I want to take the close bounce. You know. Oh, is that Johan? It's got to be Johan. Hello, Johan. I'm assuming. You want to see my face? I'm so excited. This is so cool. Okay. It's been so long since I've like live streamed to someone. I could turn my camera on. Ah, for fuck's sake, dude. It's like I'm walking through why it's a good setup and I'm staring at it. Holy, okay. I mean, Jesus, it's still a good breakout if I'm not there in the first 5 minutes. I have to take it, don't I? All right, let's just stick with the 2-hour. You know, I agree with this setup. I think it doesn't have good RVOL on the 2-hour chart. And that's okay. It's a $300 stock. I think it did have a recent catalyst. I went through the news postings on this stock last night. Does it have a history of making clean moves? Not really. You know, from the pullback it did, but like for me, I need a day to look like this to make money. So is that very likely today? Yeah, it really is. It's a really good context for that because of this. See, tight range pulls back, boom. We have exactly that happening here, where it's tight range, pulled back. Now breadth is taking out highs. So it's kind of exactly my type of, see, look here too, same idea. And I know this day failed, but the next day worked. So for a 2-day swing, you know, it's really good. And then we have an actual reason. Snappy hands. Hello, Johan. It's got to be Johan. Hello, Johan. You're watching me take. How's it going? Can you hear me? I think you can. I have to take a trade right now. And then it's going to suck. Well, no, it's not going to suck. I got this. Let's see. 3% stop. Should I get rid of CRML to take the... Probably not. CRML is probably a bit better. Gross. All right, I'm gonna do one more check. I want to make sure it's correct, and I want to make sure there's no better setup right now. There's definitely no better setup right now. All right. All right. This is my entry right here. I ended up using a ETF, and I have to put the stop in, and my stop is now in. So it's pretty chill stop loss. That makes 2 positions, and yeah. Man, I'm so happy. I really want trading to be a lot more social. So I'm really happy about this. Um, that was my trade. I literally have no more risk allowed. Probably went slightly over, but it doesn't really matter. Hello, Johan. Hello again. Gonna see if Johan says hi. I'm gonna recap what I did today as my form of trade journaling. This is normally what I do. Did not work on phone nor TV. That's brutal. What the fuck? You're watching on the computer now. Well, hopefully this is like an easier way for you to consume markets, because you can watch me deliberate trading instead of having to do my morning. I feel really proud. I feel like I nailed it. I spent typical boomerang. You're literally you work in this field, Johan. It's because Twitch is hard, but I like Twitch because it has a good dark mode, and YouTube doesn't. So, I think the ads are better. I don't like YouTube because the algorithm is really addictive, I find. So it does not let you follow. Maximum payroll. Oh God. I have to got my first viewer and I get my first probably ban, right? Let's see. This is the issue with trading. There we go. But yeah, do you want to see my trade today, Johan? I'm pretty proud of it. It was, what are your positions? Okay, I'm going to show you. So at the moment, and we talked about this with Donovan, right? We talked about CRML. Now, I tend to hold positions for 48 hours. Like, this is like my trading process now. I find something with an EP, and then I wait for it to pull back, and then I sell it after 2 days. And see like all these bounces for 2 days. Or like this one here on BW, pulls back, bounces, and then I sell it after 25%. There's another one here on BW. Then there's AXTI. See, it pulls back and bounces. If we look at something like even Open a long time ago, see how it pulls back and bounces. It wouldn't have worked for me, but that's the idea. This one took 3 days and very small bounce. This bounce, you know. But basically, like what I found is like doing a lot of back testing, dude. One of the primary variables that predicted return, I call it the CUM variable, spelled C-U-M. It's cumulative return in the past 3 days. So we found that like really explosive breakouts like this LWLG. See, this 3 days will have low cumulative return because this is like up 5%, it's down 5%, and it's up 1%. It's well below, say, 12 or 13%. And so this is like the idea behind a pullback idea, or even a good breakout. It's going to have low cumulative return, meaning it wasn't chased intraday. Like here, right? Pulls back, bounces, and that bounce has really good follow through in this case, but these are the bounces you're looking for. They're all over the place. You know, and it's trading, so the win rate's like 50%. You know, sometimes you look at a bounce like this and it looks okay, and it doesn't work at all because it sucks. But then sometimes you get like a pullback like this, and then really good follow through, but I would have sold it up here. So this is the idea. Sorry to, you know, this one doesn't work, but there's conditions and all sorts of things that are exogenous that we can't see right now because we're not in that time period. But the point being, my current setups, well, this one is failing, so that sucks. I took BE. I took BE up here because it bounced off the close, and that's going to stop me out. And then I took CRML because if we look on the 2-hour, see how it like pulls back and bounces? I took that little bounce there, and I'm holding it because the context of CRML, it wasn't just CRML, right? Donovan was talking about UAMY, and there was LAC, right? LAC broke out, and then also we had LIT, the ETF breakout here, and there was another one that was materials. Where do you enter? So you enter on the 5-minute open range highs, but not the way your algo does it. You enter on the close. And that's because of back testing I've done. The close seems to, you know, you can, here's a bounce I took, right? And it's like the 5-minute open range highs were technically here, but I entered here. And then another really good entry was the next day, not the 5-minute open range highs, but You see how it's like literally flagging with higher lows right here. You can also enter here if there's like as a follow-up setup. Like, so the context, which is really cool, is like a lot of these really good bounces, it's very specific because Fazli had an EP, right? It's not just a random stock. It's like our fourth quarter results mark an inflection in Fazli's growth as we achieve record revenue, gross margin, and operating profit. So you get the context where a fund might be buying it off the 10, 5, or 20-day moving average, or 50-day moving average. And then you find these like the move actually starts here. But we can look at breadth on that day, on the 27th. So you see how breadth is like really positive on the 27th of April. This is the advanced decline line on that day, straight up, and then it breaks out. And the context is it pulled back. So you're not actually buying strength. It's like it has a reason to go up, and it's not extended from the moving averages anymore. And so there's like quite a bit of theory that I had to do to get to this point. But with something like BE, which is very close to my stop, it's just breaking out. Like, it's really obvious, but it's not extended, and it's so easy to buy extended breakouts. But if you buy a breakout that isn't extended, it can still work without stopping you out. And you know, the biggest risk is that your stop gets hit, and then you, like, I feel like the EV with trading falls so hard if your stops are getting hit. Like, the stop is like a last resort. It's not there to function in your algo. It's there to function as a way of just getting out. But I think in like discretionary trading, it's like you should get out before it fails to follow through, unless there's extenuating circumstances. So hopefully this BE doesn't stop me out. As I say that, that's like the hardest part, in my opinion, is exiting before your stop gets hit. But yeah, how about you, Johan? What are your positions? Can you post your positions in Discord? I kind of want to go through them, and like, it would be like a really cool learning opportunity. Thank you for the compliment. I can post them. They're all the same trade though. Yeah, but you were talking about finding follow-up setups on them. And I know, like, for myself, I would love, because we know your setups work with the 20 period hold, 20 daily MA as the holding period. So for me, I bet, you know, if your algo, dude, CRML is working. If your algo has a position, like, there's almost certainly a way to discretionarily make more money on it by incorporating breadth or new news or new volume or something. Like, so it'd be really cool to just look at. If you want, I'd love that. And then I'm on Vyvanse, so I'm gonna set a timer, and I have to hard stop. Like, it's so easy to talk to you for way too long because I like talking to you. But I have to study math. Okay. I set a timer for 45 minutes. And then we can AEHR. Dude, that's sick. Holy, you have AEHR? Shit, my bad. No, but that is the EP. That is so cool. So this does not meet my cumulative return requirements. This would get wrecked. Ah, so the other thing, okay, I can tell you, because I've done a lot of research, trading, part of the reason your AHR trade worked is going to be the volume. It's like if you just look at my daily volume and you say, so we're going to look at the day before earnings. What is the probability that over the next week the earnings are higher than this line? It's basically 100%. Yeah, but I'm kind of explaining why it's working is because you know how Stugatz is like, oh, people need to look at the weekly charts and they need to like know their stocks and stuff. Well, if you look at like the daily volume, it's picking up. And so what would have happened with your stock is even after, like, it's a good stock to buy the breakout, like the breakout of this line by virtue of this volume increasing. Because if volume drives returns, you can be certain, almost certain, that volume is always going to be higher than, say, 2 million shares because it's been higher for the past 5 days. It's like a major technical characteristic of why AEHR has worked so well for your algo. It's because like the long period RVol, it like volume is increasing. From here, the trend is like that, and then long term, you know, volume is always, especially up here, it's going up. And so it's like it's a feature of a trending stock. But that's really cool. Congratulations, Johan. I like that trade. And then I don't remember. It must have been this. You must have bought it with like Christian Kulamagi or something. And then like this is also like, so these are the setups I'm trying to learn and trade, right? So your algo buys it presumably in this candle, but like this one is also like an ad spot because look at how compressed it is intraday. And then you know, I wouldn't have held it with the 20-day moving average. I would have sold it 2 days later for a swing trade, but it's the same, you know. But what happens is like you and I have to trade the exact same names. I won't make money if I'm not trading what you're trading, I've found. AMPX. Dude, that's sick. How are you in it though? Didn't it fall below the 20? You see, it has the same trait. Look at the volume trait I talked about. It's like invisible 1.5 years ago or so. And then look how low the volume is. Like if you can, yeah, you'll see it with the sell rule is low of last 20 days. Okay, got you. Yeah, that makes sense. Ah, look at the pullback. Cool. That's my setup. But it's really cool because you see, like, part of the reason this works is not just the all-time highs, in my opinion. It's the long-term volume trend. This is getting discovered. Like, if we look at, yeah, I agree with you. The moving averages feel manipulated. Sometimes it feels like if a stock, I think a moving average is moving average plus or minus 5%, to be honest, or 180R. I don't think it's a precise thing. It's like, you know. You also have AXTI. Crazy, Johan. Look at that. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. If they were close, I'd still use hard stop. Makes perfect sense. AXTI is kind of the perfect example of the volume thing. You'll see like all the pullbacks worked really well for me because the volume was working. But I imagine you entered AXTI. Is there a gap? When did you take? You took it 8% ago. Yeah, it sure did. You must have entered this day here. That's crazy. I would have thought the algo wanted more. You took it on May 1st? Maybe my data is wrong. Nice. That's something I could never have done. Not because I'm like not smart enough, but I'm actually not as fast as your algo. You entered 8% ago. Okay. Okay. I thought you would have entered it like here, but entering it after a minute, I could have entered here pretty easily. Maybe had a bit more slippage than you. Isn't that fascinating though? Like, it's a leader, you know? AXTI is without a doubt a leader. It's a really good trade without the algo manipulating. I really like long holds. $26 was the entry. For AXTI. What the fuck? Johan, $26? That's cheating. Holy. That's crazy, dude. But like, you would have called that a good setup. Like, I know you would have. You totally see it. But like, it's literally just a breakout with an earnings catalyst. And at least as far as I can tell, maybe I'm kind of stupid, but that is so cool, Johan. Nice. That is absolutely brilliant. I think I think it's like if you pull up the revenue progress of, I'm just chatting. I'm not trying to change how you trade. Not the growth rate. Jesus. Revenue quarter. If I recall, it was like pretty much. This is like so interesting, right? For AXTI. One of the things, if you ever subscribe, that is what it is. You nail it. Thank you. Um, it's so cool. Like the backdrop of this, I was reading their headlines on their website and I was like, what the hell's going on? Why is this stock so special? And they literally have, I can pull it up. Man, I love trading. It's so much fun. I have to not share. It doesn't matter. No one's watching, but I'm going to share my screen. It's so fun. I love this. I have to turn on display capture. You should be able to see AXTI. If we go through there, because like I know your algo win rate sucks, right? And so it's so cool if we can figure out the traits of it. So all over 2025, AXTI. Let me show you the headline that sparked the move. It was, I think, Johan's entry was 26 off of this setup. So it's here on February this day. Yeah, it was this headline here. I think it wasn't that, but this is the headline you bought, and and it worked. But then the follow-up headlines were really good. Maybe on the 30th. Oh, they said something that was like so obviously good in one of these. It might have been October 31st. They're basically like talking about how their outlook completely changed. Yeah, exactly right. This has been a highly active time for our business with the strong uptick in indium phosphate demand from data center applications globally. Our revenues grew more than 250% sequentially and reached a 3-year high as we obtained export permits for a number of significant blah, blah, blah. It's this. So it's like, maybe we're stupid. Maybe I'm stupid, but that is obvious. read my Twitch chat. I have to figure out. Give me I have so many tabs, Johan. I'm just going to use my LiveStream link. Yeah, this was what I thought was really cool. Is like, so the reason this stock became tradable is this headline here. And I felt like, you know, idiots though we may be, this is like pretty, you know, it's a lot to expect the open range break to always work, right? But because your algo has very low margins, you know, if you're taking a very short time frame open range break on a news headline like this, even if the win rate is 25%, you're going to miss huge events. Like your algo might have taken this. I don't, maybe the price is too low, but the point being is this is the driver of the move. And this is kind of how your algo works, like in my mind, and I could be wrong, but my understanding is essentially that you have a fundamental driver in this case in a stock that's at huge highs, right? And this is a very huge driver, and all swing setups will work on it. You know, maybe not perfectly. You don't look at stocks below $10, right? So it just barely didn't meet the cutoff. But even if you found it up at 15 or 20, the setups worked. Expensive to trade using IBKR. Yeah, that's really true. But that was like, I just felt like that driver is really strong. And that's the reason it went from 8 to 95. Holy shit, dude. And that's the reason the volume is doing what it's doing. But there's like a lot of clues that we have found. But that's like, I love researching your trades that worked. That's AXTI. You have CBOE. It's up 0%. Oh, for fuck's sake. God damn it. Am I stopped out? I'm moving my stop ascent so I don't get stopped out. That's okay. It's like, I'm mad, you know, losing sucks. Thank you, Johan. You're very kind. But it's way worse if I do what I don't want to, you know? Like if I go longing like Apple's going to be straight up because breadth is straight up, but like, oh, okay. You know, it's like if your algo doesn't work, emotionally it sucks. Not watching stops. Yeah, that's true. That's really true. My essay today was bearish and I didn't short things. I was talking about it here. I was like, I think it's a bearish day, but I didn't have a setup. Anyways, we got to look at your CBOE. I think that's probably, where was your entry on CBOE? 321.64. Okay, so it's up a lot more. That is so cool. Let's check out the news. I'm forcing you to research the news. I know you don't like it, and I don't mean to. I'm just interested in which trades worked for Johan, you know? So the ADR is low. That's like your ideal chart. The price is very high, which you also really like. This is so interesting because it's like, it's not just that it's at all-time highs, it's that if you compare this to AXTI, which worked for you as well, like all the weekly moving averages were stacked. Like this is the 5, 10, 20, 50, all stacked, and then CBOE, same thing. I wonder what their news was. May 1st. Algo requires at least 2.5% from now. Have you, is there, did you like go into your algo and see if lower ADR did better? Because I wonder if lower ADR, like, would you rather be on margin in low and slow names or not on margin in a lot of fast names? Is kind of what I wonder. What are their comments? Exceptional first quarter, building our 2025 momentum by pursuit. This is the, dude. These are the comments that led to your move. And the other thing I noticed is EPs work very well when the daily moving averages are stacked. It is on margin, but prefer small steps. Got you. I think I understand what you're saying. So, like, you know, again, this is literally a perfect setup. Isn't it crazy that this worked? Because, like, if it were me looking at this, I would have still been tilted from 2022. Like, setups like UEC. I specifically remember. Oh, God. Where was it? Maybe it was this flag that I bought on this day here. Oh, this stock tilted me for. I still feel the pain of trading this breakout. I was like, oh my god, it's perfect. Oh my god, and then it stopped me out. I still remember it, but like looking at CBOE, to me it looks so close. I think that's so smart of you, Johan, and I think you like. I honestly think like you will get better at even just the algo. You will like learn so much from it. I will force you to by going through your trades and talking about them. uh, and finding the exact catalysts. We have ESI. And then maybe I can trade the algo too. Like for me, I have to feel more comfortable with it. ESI is Element Solutions? What the fuck is this? Have you ever heard of this stock, Johan? It's very linear somehow. This is not linear. This is. Maybe it's linear on the 2 hour. Yeah, it is linear. It's. What is this? I don't know. You've never heard of it. Yeah, I don't know what they do. It's a chemical's name. Look at the. I'm just commenting. I'm never trying to like. I'm just looking. So I have this code to give pink volume. And so what I found, like in my process, Johan, I really watch for high weekly RVOL. So it took a long time to code, and the rules are impossible to read. But this is ADR greater than 8%, no volume falling a lot. So with volume, I've noticed that the choppier volume is, the harder it is to trade. So micro caps, like I think the reason Shyness is struggling is because the volume, you know, it's either there or it's not. Something like ESI with the price of $40 a share and very stable volume is pink because, well, it's very stable volume. Every week you're going to have people trading it. So that's like a good thing usually. I think it helps make a stock tradable. Like if you think about the mechanics for a stock to be tradable, it has to have volume coming into it or at least be stable. Otherwise you're going to be screwed. Let's see if my BE killed me. Piece of shit. Sure did. Oh. I somehow still have it. Okay. I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to complain. I should have gone with my shorting. Should have just shorted it. God damn it. Oh well, I'm not too upset. But so I don't know. That one is not as interesting to me. I don't need to go through every single one. We can go through to Teva. Teva. This is a drug manufacturers. Yo, look at that setup, dude. See, I would never trade this name, not because it's bad or anything, but this is exactly the type of setup Stockbee would take. So if you algo requires 50 million average daily volume. Yeah, so I think the reason, like mechanically, right? Like why does the algo work? I found in my back tests, I can show you the code, but it's not mine. I'm up 27% YTD. But I found, so for example, if you take all open range breaks on the 5 minute, should have at least 30,000 shares, which is fascinating. You wouldn't think from a market perspective that makes any sense at all. Why do you need high volume? But it's just a reality over the data set I tested. So your $50 million cap is the exact same idea or minimum requirement. I think the higher, anyways, I don't, yeah. I'm so proud of you though. You're up so much. It's really incredible. I'm really happy for you. Like you deserve it. You've struggled so much and like the thing is too, you put in a lot of work to get better with your algo. And it really shows like, and then your persistence in running the algo, even though it was challenging, I think it's really, that's like a huge victory for you. I think you should be really proud of that. But yeah, we would have all said this is a good breakout and it worked, and this is a good breakout and it worked. And it's like, yeah, obviously it worked. It came right after an EP. Like that's like a fundamental characteristic of a good breakout. Like this is a good flag, but there's no EP driving the move. In fact, the news was negative off the first day. Um, here's a good breakout, but it doesn't work even though it had an EP. But this is obviously like this might be something your algo also would have taken if it met your. I think it did. It has $100 million dollars a day. Fucking BE piece of shit. Why isn't it working? What is wrong with this setup that it's not working immediately? This is something I made a lot of money on. Trading on paper, of course. And what I did, I mean, yeah, okay, stuff happens. Trading isn't super easy. Looks like a potential fit. Cool. Yeah, I mean, you have your algo, and it's so fun to talk about. Look at that breakout, dude. Holy. Isn't that crazy? I think that's crazy setup. I would never have taken it. I would have been scared. I would have been like, oh, there's a level right here. And it does hit the level actually. So it's just today it followed through. The other thing I noticed about your AXTI, so this is like one of your best trades, is the frequency of high RVOL days. So I don't know if you remember, I think you do. Everyone knows about Oklo. So I was trading it for a class algorithm, like in school, on this day here, because it had an RVOL day greater than 5. But one of the characteristics that really helps Oklo is how often it has high volume, high RVOL days. So look at how it breaks out so it's like straight up 50% in 3 days, but the main thing is the volume. So the highest volume ever before was here, and it had multiple days in a row of increasing volume on like 3 or 4 or 5 RVol. And if we compare it to something like Caper as well, so I have them red, like 9 million shares, high RVol. It's the same idea where you get straight up huge RVol coming in, and then the stock is discovered and is tradable. And I feel like that's similar with your best algo trade, is like, even you see like stuff like this, which is a precursor. So even though daily RVol, like if you, the math RVol, average V divided by, or like V divided by average V10, won't be high. It won't be crazy high, but visually you can see it. This cluster of volume is increasing, and it's way above anything else in the past 1.5 years. And it really shows that the stock is like better for trading. It really like upgrades the quality of the name. So yeah, I don't mean to bore you. I should probably, okay. But yeah. All right. I have to go wind down. And we're going to call this, I'm going to write down my trades, BE and CRML. And the date is May 4th, 2026. Perfect. Okay, that's the live stream. I am happy. This was a great time. Thank you for watching, and I will see you later.